Hey, what is up guys? It is Phantom here and welcome back to a brand new video everyone. So in this video I'm going to be going over my top 5 disappointments in Wizard101. So I know this video might be a bit cynical honestly, and I'm going to try and remain pretty lighthearted throughout the whole thing like I do in most of my videos. But in this list we are going to be going over some pretty disappointing stuff, at least in my opinion, that King Zal has released obviously since Wizard101's launch that really just, didn't hit quite right with me or didn't really strike a chord with me, and that I found pretty disappointing for, at least all the hype that was built up around it. So anyway, without further ado, let me know your opinions in the comments down below of what disappointed you in the game. Like I said, I'm usually a pretty positive person and I'm going to try to remain that way. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into number 5. So coming in at the number 5 spot is going to have to be fishing. I'm sorry, Lucky Hook Line, I had to put it here. And listen, I might get some people in the comments that might argue with me, saying that fishing is actually pretty useful if, you put like time and effort into it and everything. And you know what? I think that is true to some degree. From fishing, I'm not saying there aren't any good things that can come of it, or there are not any good things that can come of it. You can get, let's see, you can fish for rare reagents, you can, use some rare fish to craft mega snacks, you can get code ones in the elephant graveyard. Like, there are obviously some good things that come from this feature that was added into the game. I don't remember exactly which year, but it was definitely like, I would say, what, 5 or 6 years ago? I'm not really sure. Maybe it was 2014 when fishing came out in the game. I'm not really sure. It was something like that. But fishing, for me, what was so disappointing about it was really the way that you went about fishing was just extremely tedious to me. Like, what you would do, you literally, if you guys haven't done fishing before, you literally, well, obviously you have to get the quest room first to, be able to use the button and everything. You click the button, you find a pond with some fish in it, and you cast your lure. And I don't have space in my basket for another fish, but basically what you would do is you would cast your lure here, and is my mount glitching out? Okay. You'd cast your lure and the fish would go up to it, and then eventually they'd bite it, you'd hit the space bar, and then you'd get like a chance of catching the fish. And if you catch the fish, you can either, sell to Lucky Hook Line for gold, or you could use it maybe in some special recipes. I know certain quests like require certain fish to do, so that's obviously another reason to go after them. And every new fish that you would catch would give you some XP, basically. It would give you a lot of XP on the first time of you catching it. I don't know why this is still here, by the way. I don't really know. Okay, fishing's glitching out here. But really, the thing that was so disappointing about fishing for me was I don't think it had enough rewards to compensate, and I know you can get good stuff from fishing if you actually do put in the time for it. But I kind of wish, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would say I wish fishing was a little bit more OP, because obviously you can't have it be too OP. Like, you can already get some pretty good items from it. But my main problem with it was just the system and how you did it. How they could have done it better, I don't really know, but this just isn't for me. Like, this isn't for me. I can't just really sit here, on the shoreline and just click a button, cast a lure, click another button and then catch a fish. I don't know. That's extremely tedious to me and really demotivates me from fishing. I know I tested it out when it first dropped and everything, because you can see I'm rank 7 here, so I've caught a decent amount of fish. Definitely not max rank, not even close, but I have caught a decent amount of fish, and I've tried it out, and it's just not for me. Like, this is obviously my personal opinion on the list, and I know some of you really do think fishing is useful, and I think it's useful for some things, but for me, it's not useful for enough things to make up for its tedious process, if that makes sense. So that's why it was so disappointing for me. There was kind of a lot of hype building around it at the time, and I just feel like it didn't hit that mark for me. So I have to put it at number 5 here. I have to put it at number 5 on the list. It's not the most disappointing thing, don't worry, that's reserved for number 1, but I'd have to leave it here for now. Coming in at number 4 on the list is going to have to be daily assignments. Now, I hate to put it here, honestly, because there is something satisfying about going to a daily assignment each day, collecting a reward, and then eventually working up to a chest that has a neat little animation for you to get your reward. I think that's super cool, and I think this was a really, really cool idea. I just think they missed the mark a bit on it, and the reason why I think this is because if you just go here to the entire daily assignments page for the first 15 days, you can see that you get some gold, you get some arena tickets, not that much. Notice these values and how they're not very high at all. And then you get a little bit of crowns, and then obviously you get a chance at one random item that is from the chest. So that's where I think they missed their mark. The rewards are just not very good. And I did an experiment, so I did daily assignments for about, gosh, I would say probably like the first 3 months that they were out, just to like see what I could get from it, because that chest thing, this chest thing right here looked pretty interesting to me. And I looked at all the rewards, and I did them for about 3 months, just to, test out the waters, see what I would get from it, and I've got really nothing noteworthy. And that was really, really disappointing for me, because when I saw these rewards, I was pretty hyped about the chest thing, and I know you can definitely get some decent stuff from the chest, like, such as, I'm pretty sure spellproof opals are available in the chest, as well as a few other good things, and a few other unique items. I'm pretty sure there are some decent stuff in the chest. It's just not worth it for me to do 5 days in a row, get the chest, get shit on, do 5 days in a row, get the chest, get shit on again, do 5 days in a row, get shit on again. Like, I just mostly get shit from these. I get mostly shit from these daily assignments, and that's where I think they missed their mark. I think the rewards could have been a lot better. The whole idea of going, you know, doing some random task throughout the day, like blah blah blah, defeating one gobbler scouting Colossus Boulevard, like, you know what, that's creative, right? But you gotta properly compensate the players for it. Now, I know you can, there's like some maniacs out there that like do all the daily assignments on like 10 accounts on like each wizard, and they get like a decent amount of crowns, you know, per like month or something. And you know what, I'm just not one of those maniacs, and I don't think most players are as well, so this doesn't really fairly compensate people who even do it regularly, in my opinion. Unless you get really lucky with the chest, the rewards just are not very good, and they don't properly compensate the players that actually work hard to do them every single day. So that's why I had to put it here on my disappointing list. I'm so sorry, daily assignments. It was a cool idea, but I think it really needs a buff, so that's why it was so disappointing for me. Now, I really hate to put it here, especially because of how fresh this update actually was for the game, but I gotta put the catacombs here, guys. The whole catacombs enchilada with all the dungeons, with, you know, I'm literally including everything in this list, like King Detrius, the Gregors, the final fight with the Devourer, everything, okay? Was a major disappointment. But really, the main problem that I had was with the dungeon itself, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go over one thing that I do like about the catacombs, and the one thing that I think KingsIsle did do absolutely right with this dungeon is the difficulty of it, okay? Players were hungry for a new challenge, like, seriously, a year after, like, Darkmoor was announced. You know, we really just wanted more. And it took them this long, you know, to come out with something that's actually difficult. But you know what? They managed, and they did actually a really good job with the difficulty of this dungeon. You know, people are playing this for a long time. Now, this is also where the dungeon kind of falls a bit, right? In how you acquire your set of gear for catacombs, which is obviously the Dragoon gear, which is the best gear in the game as of right now for pretty much any school. I mean, yeah, probably. So this is, okay, my main problem with the catacombs in lies how you get the gear in the dungeon. So what happens is, and how this is different from other dungeons, is you have to, let me see, wait, where do I go here? Oh, that is totally the wrong way. Okay, I'm just gonna keep walking here and go the other way. So yeah, okay, that was totally wrong. But the way that you go about getting the gear in the catacombs is, instead of actually having like the actual pieces of gear be dropped from a specific boss, you have to craft it from reagents that are dropped from said bosses, right? So you got to get a certain amount. Here, I'll show the recipe right now. If I go to my recipes here, and then let's say Dragoon Helm, here it is. So you got to get these reagents called alchemical extract, alchemical salts, alchemical crystals. You got to get all three of these, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, basically that's how it works, as well as a Vanguard Fiery Helm, which either you can get from certain bosses in the catacombs, or I'm pretty sure you can craft it as well. So that obviously makes it a little bit easier. But the fact of the matter is that while KingsIsle did do a good job with the, you know, difficulty and getting people to play this dungeon for a really long time over and over, farming for the gear, I think they overdid it a bit, in my opinion. I think they overdid it a bit in the fact that it takes a fucking long ass time to get this gear. It takes so long. It takes an unbelievably long amount of time to get all the extract, all the salts, and all the crystals. Seriously, like, every good manner, you know, of sort of, here, am I going the right way here? Every good manner of getting, like, said reagents was, like, patched, and now all you gotta do is literally just farm the dungeons over and over. I remember there was, like, a glitch a long time ago that, like, you know, made it so you could get your, you know, reagents a lot easier by resummoning. All those, you know, different unique methods have since been patched, and instead they've added a boss called Fellspawn, which has the most insane, like, insanely low drop rates of any boss that I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, the dungeon does not live up to my expectations in the fact that it takes a long time to get your gear, and my main problem is they played this off. Two of my main problems. I have two main problems with this dungeon: the length that it takes to get the gear, as well as the way they marketed this. Okay, so really how this was kind of marketed and, like, taught to the public, at least, you know, when the hole in Old Town appeared, like, some 2 years ago or something, it was super duper hype, and I just realized there's no music in here. It's really silent. So yeah, I'm talking a lot about this disappointment, but trust me, it was very disappointing for me. So yeah, the gear, and then also the dungeon, how they marketed it was they basically said it was, like, gonna be the next Darkmoor, and in a way it is. Okay, it is a huge upgrade from any gear. It's, like, unlike anything we've seen before, and the difficulty has definitely skyrocketed since then, right? Because it's proportionate to our level and everything. They did fine with that, but this dungeon is no Darkmoor. Okay, the storyline is shallow. The design of the dungeon, very lazy, very disappointing in my opinion. And that's really all I gotta say about the dungeon. I kind of want to wrap this up because I feel like I've been talking about this for a while. But just, yeah, the way you go about getting the gear, and then just the overall dungeon, the aesthetic is just not, it just didn't sit well with me. It was nothing like Castle Darkmoor or any of the 4 dungeons honestly released that year, which were all absolutely amazing. This has a relatively lazy design, I feel, throughout, and I mean, I'm still glad they're adding content to the game, don't get me wrong. It's just this slice of content that we got was really, really disappointing for me personally, so I'm gonna have to put Catacombs at number 3. Coming in at the number 2 spot on the list is going to have to be Monsterology, and I promise I will not talk as long about Monsterology as I did about the Catacombs, but anyway, Monsterology, let's talk about it. So, oh god, where do I even begin, okay? This is probably, oh man, probably one of the most useless features in the game, okay? And honestly, the whole concept of it, like with many of these concepts on this list, was really, really cool. And the fact that, you know, you could learn more about your enemies and everything and, like, kind of turn them over to your side, in a sense, and, like, log them in a journal. You know what? That was pretty cool, in theory. The way they executed it, though, however, is not really to my liking, okay? And as you can see, I've never done this quest, but I have watched plenty of videos on Monsterology to know what it's all about. Basically, what you do, you go around collecting animus, you know, from these certain monsters and everything, and with this sort of animus, coupled with probably some other things, I'm not really sure. I'm not exactly the expert on Monsterology, but you use this animus to basically craft minions in a sense. You can't, I mean, it's not really crafting, I don't really know what to call it, but basically you can create sort of minion clones of the boss, obviously not that strong, or not the boss, whatever creature that you're defeating for that animus. So you can use that animus to either create a minion, you know, from that animus, but I'm pretty sure you have to fight him like multiple times or something, because I saw someone with like a Malister the Undying minion with like 25k health, but I'm pretty sure they had to fight him like many times or something for that animus, because yeah, anyway, it's pretty pricey, and the way you go about it is super tedious. To collect the animus, all you literally have to do is defeat a creature, but you gotta keep defeating it over and over, and you can also, I believe, craft house guests from it. So you've got this feature in the game that lets you craft more minions and more like TCs and more house guests. I'm sorry, that's just not very interesting to me. That's really not to my liking. I just think, honestly, Monsterology could have been a really cool thing in theory. Maybe even if it was a bit easier and maybe offered some better rewards, you know, for like the sort of thing that you're doing here. Like, for example, maybe you could use Monsterology to, you know, summon Malister the Undying in your own home, and then from that you could, I don't know, defeat him and then get a shot at Darkmoor drops. Like, wouldn't something like that be absolutely awesome, right? And then just skip like some of the dungeon here, or maybe go into the Monster Dome. Where's the Monster Dome? I'm just gonna type it in here. Monster Dome. Is it here? If I type Monster Dome, there it is. Or maybe go into the Monster Dome where you use, you know, the Monster Dome to summon, you know, different monsters and everything. Maybe make it so you have a chance of actually getting their drops from it. There's a lot of stuff that you could have done to Monsterology, KingsOwl, that would have made it actually worthwhile. But the fact that you have it so you can create house guests, maybe certain TCs, like I said, I'm not the expert, but also certain minions from the bosses you defeat, is cool in theory, but the way you executed it just was not to my liking. I mean, nothing you did on this list was really to my liking, but this was very disappointing. I mean, just one of the most useless features in the game, in my opinion. Please do not argue with me in the comments down below about whether Monsterology is good or not. I'm sure most people know that answer already, but I have to put Monsterology here. I'm really sorry, Monsterologist Burke. Yeah, anyway, that's it for Monsterology. Coming in at the most disappointing thing in Wizard101, in my opinion, as of right now, is going to have to be the concept, or I guess the feature, of spell writing. And this one, guys, okay, this is quite the yikes, alright? This is quite the yikes from KingsOwl, because what they did with this, okay, the fact that, at least, you know, when it was like kind of announced that we were going to be able to do spell writing and like upgrade our spells to have different effects and do more damage, the concept is absolutely amazing, and is something that a lot of players have wanted for a really long time. And with a couple of these spells, they did do it right. So, for example, Nightbringer, Daybreaker, you can farm those in the Catacombs. Basically just made it an extra drop for that dungeon, which I really liked. However, with a lot of these spells, what they've done is something I'm not very proud to say. They have kind of just found another way to monetize the game, which is obviously an issue we've been struggling with for a long time. I made a whole video about it, but basically what they've done is with each of these, you need, okay, if you don't know what spell writing is, you need a certain amount of spell elements, 75 in Frostbeetle's case, to upgrade it. So you can either, you know, upgrade it to, okay, so first you have to upgrade it to this tier, and then you can choose either two paths. You can either have it choose more consistent damage, or you could have it, like, you know, up the damage, but like also have a chance to do lower damage. Basically, for this effect, I mean, it's literally just more damage. Let's say for Ghoul, for example, you could either get more healing or do more damage to the person, right? So what they've done with this is they've put these spell elements in certain packs, so such as the Spellelemental Pharaohs pack. This obviously drops spell elements. Spellelemental Road Warriors pack, these drop spell elements. Spellelemental Skyrim pack, they drop spell elements. Now, I know that there are some places that you can farm spell elements in. I'm pretty sure the Mimic is a hot spot to go for certain spell elements, but a lot of these spell elements, I'm pretty sure, are strictly premium, and you can't farm the Mimic for, I'm pretty sure. There might be some other bosses as well, but yeah, what they've done is just monetized the game, monetized this spell writing system, so that whoever pays more money can get the spell elements to upgrade their spells. Yay! Now, this is a huge issue for a number of reasons. For one, not everyone, has the money to pay for all these spell elements to upgrade all their spells. I'm wondering, wait, what's the... Okay, so for Krampus, you can upgrade... Alright, sorry, I was just curious about that. But not everyone has the money to upgrade these spells, to what they could be. And another thing is, it is really problematic as it creates a divide with the players, the hardcore players, right, who spend a ton of money, and the more casual players who are just trying to enjoy the game. That's what this does, and that is one of my huge issues with it. I wish they had just made it so, really, you could, at least, I wish they made it so they added more bosses into the game where you could farm for these spell elements, that you could farm for these spell elements, literally all of them. That would be awesome, so they're not just premium items that only people with money could get. And that's what's so disappointing about it, is that they found a way to monetize spell writing. And yeah, that's really what I don't like about it. But anyway, that's gonna be it for my list of top 5 disappointments in Wizard 101. Let me know if you agreed or disagreed with any of my points in the description. I'd love to hear your opinions. Let me know some things that disappointed you about this game. This is in no way, shape, or form meant to be like a hate video towards KingsIsle. I simply, really, honestly just like critiquing stuff. That's kind of just a theme of my channel. I love critiquing stuff. I love, ranking stuff, putting stuff in orders. Yeah, that's what I like to do. So this is in no way, shape, or form hate towards KingsIsle or anything. It's literally just my opinion on some issues. That's it. Anyways, that's gonna be all for me. Make sure to leave a like if you guys did enjoy, or maybe subscribe for more content like this in the future. I post pretty much all the time since this is summer, so consider subscribing down below. The content has been really consistent lately, and I thank all of you for your support. This has been absolutely awesome. Anyways, that's gonna be all from me, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and peace out.